I'm happy to introduce you, Ksenia. She's my colleague and the person I admire. Yeah, she's a therapist based on one side in very classical approach and has absolutely like analytical mind, not the mind that, disturbs, but that really, used for purpose, for, for inventing something new. But at the same time, Ksenia for me is a person with a big, passionate heart, and also trying even the methods that I'm a bit like afraid to touch. So she's really open to the methods that are beyond ordinary. So I think she's the one of the best person to discuss this topic, because she's deeply rooted in science, at the same time, go out of any limitations. So, Ksenia, I would, even though we communicate a lot, I have no idea what you really think about this topic. So, the transcendent, altered, non-ordinary, all this kind of state that even has no unified description. Yet we're trying to grasp what it is. So let's start first of all from your personal personality and your personal story. Tell a little bit more how about your professional background and how you got to this kind of state in your profession.
Spent 7 years so far studying psychoanalysis and Gestalt and implementing these methods in my practice. And the last 3 years, I'm exploring the transcendental and non-ordinary states of consciousness, or as some people call them, altered states of consciousness. I explore them through my own practice with master plans. I study in the Ethnobotanic Academy of Barcelona. Currently, I have an ongoing training to help people to integrate the experience that they have after taking different substances and plants that take them to altered states of consciousness. And I'm going through the apprenticeship with the culture that came to us from Brazil and called Santa Daime. And expanding and learning.
In traditional psychology or even like in-depth psychology or psychoanalysis was not enough for you. Why you still go to this further on to this kind of experience, to this kind of state as also your therapeutic tool?
Well, in my guts, I'm a very inquisitive person, and I don't think it's always enough because I always look for more interesting approach, I think. But if I want to answer to your question, I think it would be something that I feel like classical approach is a bit limited to me in a way that it does not give this whole idea of integral human being. And as I said, I see human being as existing in so many different paradigms at the same moment that would include soulful and unconscious paradigms. And in classical approach, as soon as subjective experience is so personal and scientifically we cannot measure it, so the soulful paradigm is like being thrown away from the perspective of the classical approach. So till now, I feel like I'm open to learn all these experiences that existed before us, and people knew how to practice them. And through this practice, they were connecting to themselves in this different reality that they lived before, not disturbed by technologies, and practicing through the discipline of their tradition and culture. So I'm open to learn from this perspective, from this experience, and see how I can integrate and use it for the benefit of my client and of my own development. And I think this is my trigger to constantly research and expand to the different levels and approaches and traditions that exist around the world. I deeply believe that transcend is like a tool. It's a process that takes us to this timelessness. And through this process, we are able to direct the knowledge from the paradigm of our mind, of our cerebral activity, to the paradigm of being. When this knowledge becomes so natural, so true to us, like our finger, like the shoulder, like my hair, and all this happens through this transcendent experience. We all have this access to this tool, and we just need to move our hand, like take it. But not many people actually take it. So I guess with the word tool, I'm trying to simplify and objectify the what is happening with us for easy understanding of the easier visualization. The door, imagine you're Alice and you're getting to this wonderland, so you just need to open the door and get to this wonderland. So that's what altered consciousness to me is.
Interestingly, because for me it was some kind of I never actually perceived it in this way. Reality, yeah, like you enter, and now I see that for you it's the doorway to the reality. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a part of reality. Definitely, it's like inward and outward, external and internal being together, but at the same time mixed with the emptiness that is all between our atoms. It's like a soup made of so many different ingredients, but this is this special ingredient that makes sense out of this soup, that connects all these flavors to work together in such a delicious aftertone. Make a sip, and this what makes it work. This is the secret ingredient. It also feels like we appear to the world with this inherent knowledge about who we are, and as we grow, we somehow lose the connection to this knowledge. So practicing all techniques that lead you to the state of transcendent also takes you to the same place to know who you really are.
On one side, it helps you to remember who you are, and at the same time to integrate this somehow into your being, as you say. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We can simplify it this way.
So you call it Wonderland. Let's speak about this more, because really, like, what kind of Wonderland is behind you? What you feel behind these words?
Well,
What
as
kind
someone
of,
as someone who I know calls it a beautiful nightmare, that also works. but
also,
but yes, I would definitely stick to the word Wonderland, and here would be I would use the logotherapy as a helper to explain, because I'm a very strong believer that whatever happens to us teaches us something. And if we're very stubborn not to see the lesson repeats in our life with a stronger accent. So it's like, imagine there is this picture, like you see something from behind and you just don't pay attention to it because it's just so far away, and you think that maybe it's not for you, maybe it just doesn't belong to you or whatever. So with time it's just getting closer and closer and closer to you. So the same with this lesson. So the moment when it is too intense that it feels unbearable, it means to my idea is like something that we ignoring so much that it's just coming so close to us. The state of timelessness, transcendent, altered state is just helping us to be honest with ourselves, and well, just see ourselves naked, truly naked in front of ourselves, and be honest, and learn how to accept this nakedness with our heart and through our heart, because it's like heart is this intuitive mechanism that was given to us to connect with ourselves, just to accept things as they are.
I still, you touched these two, I think maybe edges of it. It's like Wonderland and Nightmare, beautiful nightmare as you saw. But because really being naked is about both.
Yeah, it's about shocking, and it's about shock and admiration at the same time. It's about shocking about all the um, all the all the imperfectness that of the world and of our being, but um, excitement and surprise by actually complicity and beauty of it. Life is like an opportunity to test the potential that the potential of the soul, the potential of the being through the human being. This energy that makes your heartbeat is testing own potential. And if we, well, we, it is more or less clear if we talk about potential with the sign plus, but if we talk about potential with the sign minus, for example, Hitler, the darkness, the sadness, the grief that appeared in the world through him was so big. But if we look at this, how much of a strength would to hold this potential, and in a way the strength would require admiration, that there is a beauty of this effort, not of the action but of the effort, that how much will was in this act. So this was that by this example that's very explicit, I want to just show different grades.
why we are not living all the time in transcendent altered state if it's our natural ability, like we are born like this.
Yeah, we're born with like this, but we kind of become blind. It's like, imagine you are living in the. Do you remember this cartoon Beauty and the Beast? The Beast, he got this rose that was placed under some glass sphere to protect it from the external influence. So imagine human being placed under this sphere, and this glass is like a shield that blocks us from connecting to the life fully, to integrate ourselves. So through this transcendence, we get to this process of integration, to go through this field and actually feel the life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's like this, something that makes these blocks breathable, like that you can.
Yeah, that's a challenging task to put this in words.
Is it the state that really you believe that we should be all the time, or we need, different kind of state, and this is like part of our, part of our system, part of our experience, and it shouldn't be all the time like this? Or this is some destination where, like, maybe where we need to return to be fully there?
I think through integrating transcendency in the daily life, we are just able to be present at all the time of our life. And I think that's what we can learn. And because, like when you live in this connection with your own being, you just don't ask questions. Why is it happening? Why is it happening to me? Or why is it happening to the world? You just have this ultimate strength to understand that some processes can be planned, some processes are just a part of something bigger than you. You just find the strength not to, when you sometimes see many people actually shouting and beating the animals, like dogs, when they take them in the street. But in fact, this is this ability to go through the tension that they have in their life. So being in this timelessness is just getting access to this strength that you consciousness to go through the difficulty of holding the high tension and not to explicit it to those you love, or even to those you don't love, like your neighbor, or like a person in the line, and just see human being and the other human being and relate.
When people hear transcendence, something like, people think about that you just fly out of this world and somewhere not here. And in many cases, people just even don't understand why to go there. Yeah. But what you say is that this transcendence and altered states are, on the contrary, the moments of being here much more fully than we are, like, in our ordinary state.
Well, I can definitely relate that being out of here would definitely be a part of the practice that some people might face. And if I relate to my experience with ayahuasca, I would definitely can say that would happen to my spirit or to my soul, I can definitely say that I felt this certain separation where things were happening a bit further from my somatic perception. They were happening somewhere above me, but they finished happening. The result of it was integrated in my being. So that's why I'm saying that transcendence is like a door to this process that is initiating a certain integration of all the burden that people carry through their life that blinds them from connecting to this state of being. So for me, the transcendence or altered state of consciousness is like an expansion. It's not like a flying out. For me, it's like expansions in all the south, north, south, east, west, all the directions. So it's a beautiful connection to the life, and I think sacred geometry is picturing it in a very, very beautiful way, where you see a human figure, and I think they call it tetracon. I'm not very. I don't remember the exact names of these figures, but it shows how the energy, how the perception is all around the human body, all around the human being.
Yeah, it's really also beautiful because for me, maybe even personally, I feel this, how to say, maybe, sometimes it's hard to explain because you expand and part of your experience, as you say, is out here. But at the same time, it still so influences what is here.
Yeah.
And so as you say, I really feel integrated.
Well, that's a very beautiful feeling.
What are maybe like the keys or something, the things that really to make this out of the world experience, like really integrate in your being? I don't think it happens just like this.
Yeah, we all wish that this happens just like this with the click of the button, but not. Yes, definitely. All my studies, all my professional training and practice and my own experience, it all gives me the same idea that integration is as important as the experience itself. And we can simplify integration to for example, to the first step that would definitely relate integration as a process to psychotherapy. If you address to the therapist, it is you who need to come to the therapist. Otherwise, like, for example, if your friend will drag you to the therapist, more likely the therapist will not accept giving you the support and the service. And the same happens with integration. It should be chosen. The person needs to make a choice, as simple as saying, I want this change to happen in my life. I want to know more. I want to change my life because that is how it is now. Does not work for me. I don't feel myself. I don't feel comfortable. I feel anxiety. I feel fear. I feel I am running from something and all this sort of things. So I believe that the first step is a choice. The choice to expand. Also, well, it should not be always this, this critical situations. As I feel anxiety and fear. It also can come from a more peaceful area, like I am a mother, but I also want to learn my other roles, how I can be better in teaching, better in doing what I wanted to do before I had my kids. All this expansion, all this urge for expansion is the first step. And then comes the integration as forming a discipline of certain activities, of certain practices that that are designed to help the person to learn about him or herself in different paradigms, to understand different levels of being, the somatic, the cerebral, the spiritual, the collective, the unconscious. As we practice, we become more and more familiar how it is to be in an expanded state. So every time we want to be expanded, we start having, with every accomplishment, we become more and more familiar with how it is to be closer to where we want to be. And finally, when we reach a certain level, this level becomes so familiar, and in the end, it becomes natural, and it's not a big effort anymore to do that. Like, let's compare it to the physical activity or going to the gym. Yes, first 2 weeks are very challenging. They are heavy. You train, you use new set of muscles, you learn different perception of your own body, but then you must become more prepared to the weight, to the the weight that you put on yourself. And every day is just easier and easier, but it's a process where time asks for respect, because some processes of formation, of building up, they require time. As imagine you're building a house. First, you put the basement, but to build the basement, you need to use certain materials, and these materials, to first, they come from the liquid state to the state where they're solid, where they hold the structure, and the process of solidification requires time. So the same.
And mean that I understand that with time, like this process already built up, maybe, and it's easier. Who infused like psychedelics, ayahuasca, do they help you to get there quicker or no? Because why people, I think, go, because you can do the same effect like by gradually, doing some practices, meditating, contemplating, therapy, or there is something else there.
Well, I would definitely relate to the word shortcut. If we talk about psychedelics, ayahuasca, or holotropic breath work, they save hours of psychotherapy as well, because they take you to this state of catharsis where you understand that this is your responsibility, and from now on you need to make the choice whether you just stick to how it was before, or you just cannot. You see this truth, you see your own responsibility for all these actions, and then honestly you start deciding. You get this transparency with yourself, where you want to your actions and your inner world be coherent, so that you just cannot avoid it because it is so obvious. I mean, you definitely can keep on pretending or playing different roles, but it's it's just like put you so much who you are face to face, and not just you yourself, but the whole life where everyone is part of each other through something that makes everyone's heart beat.
So are the states for everyone, or it's really like maybe not recommended for someone, or it requires some preparation? So is it really safe just to go like for whoever wants and whenever he wants there?
Well, as a professionally trained specialist, I would definitely say that I would not say that this shortcuts are for everyone, because first of all, we don't have a clear idea of our consciousness. We don't have a clear idea of our mind. Our consciousness will remain a Pandora box and human brain for many years. I would recommend the shortcut for people with schizophrenia, for example, in the family history, or going through the states of active psychosis, because it might be just so intense that it would be just too hard to go through it. But on the other hand, as a passionate believer, I would say if there is a will, there is a deed. I mean, if a healthy side of the person of choosing, yes, I want to change something, I guess everything is possible.
Mm-hmm. The perception that you take some magic pill, you go on a trip, and all your problems are solved. But I mean, in fact, many cases they mean something very different from the magic pill.
You talk about Netflix. There's TV show How to Expand Your Mind, and all other TV shows that show the experiences with psilocybin, LSD, MDMA, and all these experiences happen in clinical trials. But no one talks much about integration, how it is important to integrate this experience, because like you get this experience, but the other question is what you're going to do with this experience. How are you going to integrate this experience in your daily life? Because to change something, you need to change the patterns of your reactions, how you interact with the internal and external world. So just you look for the answers, you get these answers, but to change, you need to implement these answers. But implementation is the same part of timelessness to me, because it's for a human being, every change is intense. It's discomfort to get out of the comfort zone. So where we get this resource to go through change is the timelessness. So that's why for me all these processes are so much connected into one through the transcendence.
As a person who works with these states, I would also like to touch some myths about it, or some, mistakes or misconceptions about.
Let's talk about something that is in the phase. I would say the recreational, so-called recreational usage of psychedelics is like when a person takes substances and go partying, or use the substances to avoid some experiences or emotions in life, as in a way of even changing into abuse of the substances. And in this way, I would call toxication that sometimes can be taken as a psychedelic transformative experience. Like, I took this and I saw these creatures or these archetypes and they told me doing this and that. So yes, let's separate the toxication of the body with set and setting properly intended for the healing, or for the healing experience, for the healing purpose. Intending to change something in a productive way, you look after it. You create a relaxing space. You're choosing the company and the guidance with who you are doing it, or if you're preparing yourself, you ask for the support of someone, or you learn things. So you treat your own body and your own soul with the respect, with care, with the responsibility for the result, because you already make a choice that you want this result to happen. So you don't take drugs and just go to the club with this loud music, with people having all sort of behavior and experiences where you cannot relax, where you cannot focus, where your attention is all over the place. Set and setting is very important, because your focus and your attention is exactly on the on where you want to be. And as you connect to this experience, and you help yourself to go through challenging of the experience. I would also say that sometimes people mix dreaming and transcendent reality. I would use a scientific explanation here that dreaming is the state that that helps us to go through emotions and feelings that haven't been lived through during the day, and it's this function that is so native to the body, just to rest, to sleep, to shut the system, and to recharge the battery. So it does not have the meaning of mental workout, and doesn't have a set.
Yeah, so in transcendent states, you say that we go somehow a little bit beyond our mind, and yet we involve. So we go there with not only with our mind, but also with our heart, with our being. But yet the mind is a very important instrument in this process.
Yeah, definitely, it's a filter, and this filter in this transcendency is used as this material to work through. You just take the settings of the filter and change them. You clean them. Like, imagine it's a filter of the vacuum cleaner. You just take this filter, you clean it, you dry it in the sun, and they put it back, and it works with a better productivity for the benefit of cleaning.
And in transcendent state, you mean this is kind of cleaning, yeah? The filters.
Cleaning as well. I would not say just it has just one characteristic. It's such a complicity of it's a process that is very complicated, because it has so many angles, so many paradigms that you can look at it through. I'm imagining now a piece of paper, and I draw a line on this piece of paper, and I mark one dot, marking the moment when I was born, and I'm marking the moment when I die. And I ask myself, after this moment will arrive, would my transcendency be over? Would it have a final point? And my answer is no, because it would be transformed into something that I don't even know about. But at the moment, I'm going through apprenticeship of the culture that appeared in Brazil. It's called Santo Daime, and the culture was and is around consuming ayahuasca with the purpose of building very deep respect and empathy inside yourself, and cultivating conscious presence. And through this conscious presence, cultivating this empathy to life. let's say it this way. And I learned from a person who I would say a shamama, and I just look at her eyes sometimes and just see that that's really hard to explain in these words that I would like to, but on the sensational level, it is like such an expansion where you see that this person is holding you, and there is not much effort to hold you the way you are, hold everything that you bring with yourself. And yeah, it's just really hard to put in words. It's like a state where you feel this togetherness and separateness by default. It's just you're part of your nature. I was asking myself about the God, the Lord, the God itself. What is it for me, the God? And I was able to understand that since I'm a kid, the word God doesn't make any meaning to me. Yes, it had. I feel like I should have something behind it, but it just does not happen. It just doesn't ring the bell. It doesn't sound like something familiar. And then I ask myself, okay, if this word is not familiar to you, what word can you use in your prayings to address to this something that is bigger than you, that is much bigger than you? And I was meditating with this question, just breathing through it, concentrating, connecting to this question. And the answer that I was satisfied with was the phrase that is that sounds like the beat of my heart, rhyme of my heart, this energy that makes my heart beat. And and that makes so much sense to me, exactly to me, because this I connect to my soul. I see the reflection of my soul. I see this expansion that I can go to through this energy that is around my heart. Through this energy, I see my soul, and the soul is like a mirror of something that is unscalable. And yeah, so and because this experience is so subjective, but so many people can relate to it through their own experience, that it's hard to explain through the scientific approach that can be measured, because you cannot measure it because it's so subjective, but also related in such a different way that unites all of us.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing this, because I can also relate to it, and yet I'm exploring and finding this unifying, feel that people can have this more mutual ground, even maybe words to express their things. And it's really beautiful, like you say, because I felt like that you're telling that this soul is like timeless, and maybe you said even this word conscious present. For me, what
Conscious presence.
it's with what I start my morning actually every day. It's like this gratitude for the creative consciousness that revealing through me, that revealing through all of us. It's not my words, it's from Kundalini Yoga, but it so resonates with me. And yeah.
It's like an everyday choice that you make.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel very resonated also with it. It's not just like I made this choice. It's just revealing through me. I don't know how it's.
Beautiful connection.
Differ in psychedelic experiences and in meditation.
Well, I can say yes and no, because if I go back to the early stages of my meditation practice, I can say that I was meditating for this slight moment that I was able to silence and centerize myself. That was in the beginning, it was just like even smaller than a second. It was just so fragile and so quick, this moment of transcendence that I was able to touch in my early days when I learned how to meditate. And if I compare it to now, it's just so big and easy. It's still expanding, but it's definitely easier with meditation to get to this centralization. And it's still a practice. It's an effort. It's a routine that I'm going through. When you compare this routine to psychedelics, that's definitely facilitate this process and gives you this example of how easy it can be. So definitely, as I have both of the experiences, I'm able to learn from both of them and just facilitate my daily routine. But also, I don't see myself taking substances every day because it's just energy consuming in the first place, and I want to be active and not just live in my spiritual paradigm. That is also a side effect, let's say, of that can appear after using psychedelics, because people have different experiences and they take them in a certain way, and they use this experience and as an excuse for everything in their life. It's like, okay, I broke my leg, then because it's something spiritual happened in the paradigm, or some bad spirits appeared and crossed my road, and all this kind of things. So the answer is yes and no, and as I mentioned before, it's a certain discipline that can become part of each other. Because, for example, when you are in the ceremony, there is this moment when you take the substance, and then there is this moment when the substance is activated in your body and going through your veins, through your blood, and getting you to where you need to be. And this moment you just wait. And personally, I always go through the meditation. I facilitate myself going through this transcendence using the techniques and routine I use in my daily meditation. So when I meditate daily, my body and my brain and my spirit already familiar. Okay, we are ready to get there. So the whole process, the um, the intake is already facilitated for my daily activity, my daily meditation. So it's two processes of one big process.
Yeah, it's like, taking care, for example, about, I don't know, your body, like doing some exercises, but at the same time you can, that in some certain circumstances you can, jump high or run fast if your body knows already this experience.
Yeah, definitely.
If it needs, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, some days are just more intense than other days, and I know, okay, I'm getting to my limit where I am no more, that I just cannot hold no more. It's just too much. I talked to this person. I had this process to adjust. I have this that I did not accomplish. I'm a human being, and I experience all sort of emotions. And just at some stages, just feels just too much. And I understand that I can always go and recharge myself through this meditation, where it will help me to go through all these emotions and the feelings that I'm not able to react this exact moment of the day, and just help myself and to centralize and already continue the day or continue the evening whenever I have time for this, from the place of centralization, not from the place of the head, because, for example, I use too much of the brain to analyze how I can optimize the day, how I can do this in such a short amount of time. So not from the place of mind or rushing, but from the place when everything is connected and I realistically understand what are my reactions, where my responsibility for choosing this reaction. And so just this is like, at this stage, transcendence is a place of resource.
I really hear a lot about this. I think with our interview, integration is the key word here, but not about only, like, for me, it was all the time a word about so that you get something out of there and you integrate it in your daily life. But you speak about this honesty and responsibility, and I mean integral feeling of life.
Yeah, it's integral expansion. So it's like, let's compare it to the beat of the heart, because when the heart beats, it's like it expands and goes smaller at the same time. If it's like constant movement, so expanding, shrinking, expanding, shrinking. So it's the same. For me, transcendency is about expanding, being integral at the same time.
And shrinking, it's also part of the,
yeah, it's integrity, because when you are when you are more focused on yourself as an individuality, you're limiting yourself in a certain cocoon to separate inward from external influence. So for me, it's about shrinking, like being inward, and expanding, being external. But and presenting at the boss phase at the same time.
Yeah, I think we can finish with this beautiful metaphor. I think it's like really that will stay the symbol of this interview, and it's really, yeah, I will feel it with my heartbeat.
Thank you.
Only, one thing that you mentioned, side effects. This also the topic that still worries me a lot, because this again topic become more trendy and a lot of, even I read the article about Sajoli. He wrote it at the beginning of the century, actually, that people go for transcendent states, and he describes the motives of it. And like 4 of them are about egoistic, actually, and proving yourself something motives. It's not about really to transform or like to get. It's a lot about pseudo spirituality, as he called it, even in his time.
Okay.
Now I think it's even more becoming more and more. Some part is becoming, more accessible, more stronger, but this false part of it, and maybe it's becoming more also evident and, sharp. So how not to get here on some, really like egoistic trip, or just desire to, experience something unordinary, or to go like, to develop yourself, or to feel like super pooper that you experience something that nobody experienced. I think I really, if to be honest, these motives are all inside me also when I'm speaking about transcendence, if to be really honest, yeah, as well as something deeper, yeah, calling. And this deeper calling, I believe it's true, yeah, but it's also connected with all this. Do you feel something in your practice or in people that comes to these practices, the people you work with? So what is your advice here?
Well, definitely there are challenges and pitfalls as ego inflation, challenging and distressing experience with psychedelics, because not everyone has a positive experience, but many people actually have bad trips that lead to all different outcomes, as anxiety, fear, feelings of being overwhelmed, and just being psychologically vulnerable after that. So, and many more, like spiritual bypassing, as I mentioned. And in my experience, I actually had a very intense experience of going through psychedelic experience with a shaman, who I can definitely, from being where I am now, say that she was going through ego inflation. And the whole challenge of communicating with her and having my experience was with her is because she was influencing my set and setting from her perspective, transmitting the idea of aliens changing my DNA, and actually saying all these stories that are published in the Gaia channel. There's this channel that expands on all the operational theories and different
and
theories.
I mean, speaking such things in very open state, very deep state, for me it's also a bit
and this is that I would relate to ego inflation, because a person is taking too much responsibility, well, not too much responsibility, too much on herself, to project her reality on my reality, not giving me space to observe my reality, but actually pushing her reality to my reality. And when I'm in this very flexible and vulnerable state, that is the last thing I want to experience of this. So my advice and my practice is reality check. And reality check happens through asking questions. And who am I? What am I doing? What is happening with me? How am I doing? How am I reacting? What is happening? What is really happening? All these basic questions that are around here and now. And here my favorite method, Gestalt, helps us with that is based around the here and now. And you ask yourself these questions: is it a part of my reality? Are these memories mine? What these memories, what thoughts these memories bring with them? What thoughts, what emotions do I feel in relation to these thoughts? What is that happening? Who am I talking to? So, and the best thing is not just, have this silent talk in your head, but the reality checks through writing and through even maybe talking to yourself in the mirror are the best, through my experience, practice and tool so far known to me. It is very easy. It is always accessible. And it's like becoming your own shaman.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is actually the aim of it. Yes, like to be your own guide. And I mean, like as I started my interview, that I was making you a compliment about this, that your mind is really like, in these cases, I mean, even in these transcendent cases, is an instrument of reality check. I mean, like it's connecting you to what is now. And that's why I'm really like, my deep respect for you, because you have this ability to go very far, but at the same time, to be here and to check and to think, to contemplate. And you say not only with your mind, but with all of you. So that's maybe that's why you have ability to go so far, because you have this, tools to navigate there. Because it's really like it's really a limitless field, and I think it's important, to be still somehow connected to yourself.
Thank you for your words. And yes, definitely, it serves as a compass in this big field of life.
Yeah, so thank you. I guess this will be also the compass for someone who exploring the field, and who in the process of integration, as we all of us. So